I would too.
Welcome to Just Ranked. Ever wonder what your favorite song is actually good? Or nostalgia, is this lying to you? Well, we're here to crush dreams and confirm bangers. That's right, we're Just Ranked. My name is Joe. I'm with Chris and with Jimmy and with Dink. How's the show work? We have a different topic every week. This week's topic is Cinderella, and we pick our favorite songs of that artist or that topic. If you want to know anything about us, just go to justrankedpod.com. You'll find a link to all our socials, to the audio podcast, to the YouTube show. Make sure you click subscribe, click the like button, download, and listen on and follow on your audio streams for podcasts. Like I said, this week is Cinderella. Some people are very aware of this band. Some people are not. Cinderella was a big band in the 1980s. Where we go, we're started in Philly in 1983 by singer and lead guitarist Tom Kiefer and Eric Binningham, the bassist. The one thing I want to note here, it's kind of rare for their lead singer to be the lead guitarist, and he's never stated as being the lead guitarist, but he's the lead guitarist.
Does a lot of the solos.
Yeah, even live. And live, he does all the solos. I mean, I saw him a few years ago with Lizzie Hale and Hailstorm. He does all the solos, and real quick personal fact, I met Fred Curry, the drummer, years ago when he was in a band called Arcade. I opened up for his band.
Nice.
Me too.
It was a great show, great guys. Nothing but good memories. But anyhow, Cinderella has 4 studio albums, nice songs that came out in 1986. Long Cold Winter, my personal favorite, came out in 1988. Heartbreak Station came out in 1990, and Still Climbing came out in 1994, and that was their 4th and last studio album. There have been 14 total members in the band. Only 2 of the band from the beginning. That's, like I said, that's the aforementioned Kiefer and Brittingham. The band was together from 83 to 95 and then reunited in 96. So a little hiatus between those 2 years. And then continued until 2009 and had a bunch of one-off shows from 2010 to 2014. The last show being the Monsters of Rock Cruise in 2014. Just of notes, Tom Kiefer said there's no plans and never ever will be plans for the band to reunite. That will not happen.
No.
Tom Kiefer is notably, had 6 surgeries to fix his vocal cords over the years. And if you know his voice, you wonder if his voice is still there. Like I said, I saw him a few years ago and his voice still sounds exactly the same. So He says now he's gotten older and after that 6th and last surgery in 2012 or what it was, his voice has never been stronger. Like I said, and when I saw him a few years ago in 2017, 2018, sounded just exactly to the album. It's amazing because the guy can sing without his rasp. I mean, if you listen to some of his solo stuff, or even a couple of songs with Cinderella, he kind of sings without the rasp. It's amazing what he can do with that voice. Altogether, the band sold 15 million copies, and I think they've had 6 different top 20 singles as far as the band goes itself. Like I said, it's a band either you're a really big fan of, or you kind of know the song Night Songs, or the song Long Cold Winter, whatever it may be. But we're here to tell you our favorite songs. This week, who's starting? I even forget with everything going on. Dink is starting.
That's Dink starting.
His head is just a stone. So
yes, that is a lyric from one of the songs. Okay, I like this band a lot. But and I think we've talked about in other shows we don't discuss much going in, but we did have a little powwow pre-camera on, and I don't have any notes really, so I'm going to wing it, which is unlike me. I do have my list, obviously, and I'm actually going off my real Spotify list. I didn't even write down my list. That's how winging it I am. But anyway, so number 4 is from Long Cold Winter, and mine are both from those 2 albums. I didn't give the 3rd and 4th albums the time of day, much like when I listened to them. I listened to Heartbreak Station a little bit. I don't think I listened to the 4th one at all. I was done with the band at that point. That's just me. But I loved the first 2 albums. So anyway, my 4th song is Falling Apart at the Seams, with, of course, the bluesy Bad Seamstress blues that starts the song, which I fucking love.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
It had some consideration for opening track for that episode.
Sure.
It was on my long list
Me
because
too. Yep.
I really love that the beginning almost more than the full song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
again, I don't have a lot of notes. I really like Tom's voice. I love that bluesy look at on back. Like I love that shit. I play again. It's another one you're going to hear in the backyard. I have this high school reunion I do, and we're going on the 4th annual, and I do the music, and that song gets played at least once, maybe twice over the course of. It's a full weekend party, right? Camp out party. And because also Long Cold Winter was high school for us, so high school for everybody that's at the party, right? So it fits, right? So I slide in a few of these Cinderella songs in there, or any kind of glam or hair metal, because everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So
nice. Yeah, that song is nice because it kind of shows you where because the second album is so much different than the first album. The first album is more of a traditional 80s rock album as far as the mix and sound goes. And that first song kicks off, so we're doing things a lot differently. And that first two songs combined, it pretty much encompasses the entire sound of the second album.
it really does, right?
Yeah,
And then
it announces
the stages, right? Like,
yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
I said Bad Seamstress Blues announces the intentions of the whole new album.
It really does, right? Yeah. Now, I don't want to give away some of our conversations in the past with Cinderella. Is that, and maybe I'll get to it when it's your turn. Is that kind of what swayed you away from Cinderella a little bit versus Night Songs?
Well, yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about that on my picks, but yeah, when Night Songs came out, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I love this. I played it nonstop. I wore it out. I got sick of it.
Yeah,
right.
And then Long Cold Winter came out, and they were kind of the big shift of all the glam metal going the blues route. And
they were.
It was different, and I didn't vibe on it. There's some really cool songs on there. And then obviously somebody's probably going to pick one or two of the slower songs. The one song I could do without ever hearing again. But that's pretty much what it was.
Right. Yeah, and I think I mentioned it when we were talking in the ballads episode, that I thought they really stood out. And you're right. Maybe they're the ones that started the whole kind of bluesy movement, but I thought they really stood out versus some of those that didn't maybe go the blues way, that were still jamming away, where Cinderella looked like everybody else but sounded different, right?
It was a big deal too, because when the second album came out, either you loved it, and I know I played the hell out of freaking Night Songs, man. I knew every song from backwards and forwards. And it was about the time I started learning how to play guitar. It's one of the first albums I started learning how to play right by ear. But when Long Cold Winter came out, it was a very divisive album, because a lot of people that loved 80s rock, and people forget 80s rock. If you were a huge fan of 80s rock, a lot of people had very narrow mind of what that genre could be. That's why like bands, I think, with like Cinderella became bluesy, Extreme, who are a little bit of everything. Bands like that, Saigon Kick, bands were just a little bit different. Didn't make it really, really huge because they had some artistry. I hate to say that, but the one thing that I sound like an old man when I say this, but one thing 80s rock kind of
cookie cutters. We are.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the thing, we are, right? Like,
yeah. But still, I mean, it's like there's a very narrow mind of what you could do. And then that's, I think, one reason why when alternative hit the way it did, it was so broad and you could do anything you wanted to. And when Long Cold Winter hit, my God, like, oh my God, this album is mind opening, because I'm not still to this day not a big blues guy, even though I'm a guitarist. I know it's probably sacrilegious, but that album alone was just like, oh my God, this is amazing stuff. It's just them. Well, Tom Kiefer wrote every single song on every album. He's the only writer of every song. There's no contribution by anybody. But
Eric Brittenham did some co-writing on a couple of the songs. Yeah.
Okay, so I stand correct, but 90% of it is all just Kiefer, right? But just having that a little bit of blues and just a little bit of acoustic guitar, because even at the time with Bon Jovi having the acoustic guitar, Cinderella having the acoustic guitar. It was a big deal because it wasn't like acoustic guitar, it was a little bit of country, and some people didn't like that.
Right. And then like you said, you started to see all the other hair bands incorporating acoustic guitar into their ballads, into their other songs, right? Then it became like Firehouse is doing like half their album acoustic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And to kind of address what you were talking about, how Cinderella came out bluesy. I don't know if they were the antagonist of that, but they kicked the door down with it, and
they were the biggest
followed.
band to do it, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not the hugest fan, but they did it really well. Like that blues guitar in that song.
They were very fluid.
Right.
And Dink, I would say they did it very ravishingly.
Ravishing.
Nice. Oh, that was well played. And I was going to try to incorporate a new word for nice, and I said to myself, don't say nice so much. And then you're like, I opened for them, nice. I opened for them too, nice. I was like, oh shit, there's two already.
By now, this is episode like 74 we've done. You're nice, Jimmy's cool.
Right, I'm wicked, nice. Yeah, Jimmy's beautiful.
One thing that's cool about this.
Oh shit!
And I talk like we got him fast.
1,000%. All right.
What do you got for three?
Number three. So mine's like, not to repeat myself from earlier episodes because I tried to get away from saying that too, but like mine's pretty basic bitch here.
Basic bitch.
My number three is Somebody Save Me. I fucking love. And the next one is the one you would think. Like I love those two hits from Night Songs. And this is the third release song after Shake Me, which is coming next, and Nobody's Fool, right? This is the third single off Night Songs. I love this, and mostly because, and I'll get to it in 6 seconds, I loved Shake Me. That was obviously my introduction to the band.
Yeah, sure.
Fucking loved it. And that was the album came out in 86, right? So that was grade 7 or grade 8, whatever month it came out in 86. But it was, I don't know, I went to a middle school for grade 7 and 8. And so it was one of those years. And everybody was taught, like, did you get Cinderella? Yeah, I got Cinderella. Can I tape it off you, man? It's so good. I'm like, yeah, it's so good. You see the video? Yeah, the video's wicked, man. Yeah, and I think John and Richie are in the, like, because Bon Jovi was so involved.
At the very end, yeah.
They're in the video, right? So, yeah, no, I love the track. Yeah.
Was it supposed to be somebody else?
It was supposed to be somebody else, and then John Bon Jovi and I think it was Richie Sambora came in and just filled the void. It was supposed to be somebody else.
Oh, it's too funny.
Filled
the void. Yeah. Well, a lot of those bands like had video crossovers or like cameos or stuff. Like Crew's in a Rat video and Ozzy's in a Rat video, or Rat's in a Crew video, or vice versa. Right? They're all in each other's videos, so that's kind of cool too.
It was also a stable of, I like to call it this, even though there's only two bands, really big bands, the stable of John Bon Jovi bands, right? Is Bon Jovi, is Cinderella, is Skid Row, right?
Right. But yeah, no, I really like the song. And if you guys won't have anything to say, I might as well just incorporate my number 2 because I've already said it. So Somebody Save Me is number 3 and Shake Me is number 2. And those songs kind of go hand in hand with me. Like I love them both. And I know they're basic. I know they were hits. I know they were released, right? Where some people are like, oh, don't you like? Yeah, I like all the other stuff that nobody really knows. Nothing for Nothing and all the other tracks. But yeah, just Shake Me was it for me, right? And then Somebody Save Me when I got to the second side, because I had it on cassette. I was like, oh, this is really, really good too. You know what I mean? And then, of course, once it was released, you started hearing it. You saw the video, and away you go, right? So
yeah.
That's 3 and 2.
Well, again, I think when Night Songs, like I said, it has such a distinctive sound. Yes, it's very 80s sounding, but his voice and just how he composes a song is you can take those songs, if you rearrange them a little bit and give them the same kind of production value of Long Cold Winter, they could sound from the same album. It's just two different production values when it comes to hard rock stuff, right? So it's just the way I'll get into this too when it's my turn. I don't mean to talk so much, but
No.
One thing Kiefer doesn't get credit for, again, he's the lead guitarist. He's the main writer of 99% of the songs. He is a riff master, dude. You can
Right.
remember
That's
so
what I was
many of
gonna
his
say.
guitar
Like,
riffs.
his riffs, like especially on "Shake Me," I like between his riff and that drums, and I was trying to avoid talking about the drums because I know Jimmy will want to talk about Fred Curry, who you talked about, versus the session musician that actually played on it, right? So,
Correct. Yep.
but
Exactly.
I like that whole riff and that, like it's just fucking awesome, right? Like, or it was when I was in grade 7.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, we don't even need to talk about number one because I would, as per my last email, I would tell anyone to go back and watch our episode 7 of the Glam Ballads because number one is Coming Home. And I clearly stated it in that episode. It wasn't number one of my ballads, but I said if we ever do a Cinderella show, this is my favorite Cinderella song. So Coming Home is number one. I like to try to be accurate and obviously was telling the truth. Love Coming Home. But everything I said on that last episode applies here. I love the low register. I love the high squeal. I think I said it cost him his voice, and you've already touched on all the surgeries. I love the message the song sends. Yeah, it just stands out to me.
Well, that's called a callback.
Right, it's called a callback.
Go back and check it out.
And while we're on that episode, to wrap up my list, my honorable mention is probably the song Jimmy Never Wants to Hear Again. That is an emotional one for Chris. That was also on that episode.
Yep.
It is Don't Know What You Got. And it was that or Gypsy Road. And if I was to look at my true list, I thought about changing it. And actually right under Don't Know What You Got is Nobody's Fool, Gypsy Road. So, you know, it is what it is, right? My whole list is all those 2 albums until the title track of Heartbreak Station is way down, probably after almost all those songs are listed. But anyway, that's just me. But that's my list, boys. It's pretty basic.
Nice.
You don't have any more honorable mentions?
No, I tried. Like, I'm just going to go with the one. Okay, just the one.
Did you by chance look at my printed call sheet today?
No, did it say Dank State of One?
You're going to want to go back and read that.
I am going to. I probably skimmed it. Okay, so I'm first. Okay. Probably there was something in brackets or something beside it, like don't take fucking 2 hours while you're talking.
There's one for all of us.
But awesome.
Yeah, Chris, it looks like it's you, brother.
All right, so when we what?
A Presidente.
All right. So.
Jeebus. So when we started doing this, I was like, why don't I listen to Cinderella anymore? And then when I was listening to it, I'm like, yeah, that's why. I don't really like Tom's voice. So much so that a lot of the songs I kind of glaze over the lyrics and just listen to the music part. So that's kind of what my picks were, except for maybe one of them. So I really had to go back because I don't listen to Cinderella anymore, really. So my number 4 is If You Don't Like It. And mainly for the intro, really, it got me. Right. I don't have any real notes on it. I like the guitar, I like the drums.
Yeah.
I glazed over the lyrics because I kind of, like I said, I'm not really into Tom's voice. You either really like him or you don't. And
that's very true. Yeah. Very divisive voice.
And that's not the only band. I know a lot of bands like that. You either like, I actually saw an interview with, get off topic a little bit, with somebody, Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan. And he said, the reason people hate the band is because of the voice. The reason people love the band is because of his voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's kind of the thing with this. So that's my number 4 and no notes.
I find it interesting that you're not a fan of his voice, but that's probably the raspiest song they have.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
But like I said, I kind of, when I was listening to it, I glazed over his voice for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and
the way I listen to music now is a lot different than I used to too. A lot of it's when I'm commuting to and from work, so it's in my earbuds and I'm like on the train or something, and I kind of get lost in it, and I kind of key on things that I never used to listen to.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's changed.
Listen
That
to
has
it so
changed my
con-
list over the years. Sorry,
Hmm.
I gotta
I
say
think
You
too.
listen to it subconsciously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I feel bad saying stuff about people's voices when I can't sing a damn, and I wouldn't have the balls to stand up in front of a crowd and do it. Right? Like, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just
No,
something
but
I
you like
don't.
what you like, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll make you feel better. I'll tell you what everyone tells when I tell everybody else when they say I hate this, I hate that. It's like, well, you just don't like it, right? Music is
Try to
art.
stop saying that. Yeah.
Music is art, and all art is subjective. So you
Right.
know what you like, and you like what you love, right? I mean, so that's
Yeah.
all it is.
and we've touched on this in many shows, and you just did with not going back to it. Your taste change, right? Just like fruit,
Right.
right? Your taste change.
They totally do.
Some things you're loyal to, it's nostalgic. Some things you're like, oh fuck, how did I ever like that? Or
Doctor.
Yeah.
I used to hate this. I love this now. Like, and I'm kind
Yeah.
of like that with country boys. But anyway,
Yeah, we're not there yet.
yeah, exactly. I know. Well, what I was gonna say about that song that you picked, we just, and I know on our audio versions it's probably playing right now, right? But while we're talking, it's not. So it's playing in my head. I think it's
Right.
that song that there's a slight guitar change in the bridge that's really cool.
Yeah.
I do actually in my notes. I have the middle guitar is what I have written down here.
Right.
Like, so that really grabbed my attention. So
Yeah.
Well, I think he's using a glass slide.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I find that cool. I'm not, as not being a country fan, but I find it cool when rock or heavy metal or rock use like a slide guitar technique or blues. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my number 4. Number 3 is Gypsy Road.
Nice.
It's 100% because of the guitar. I love the guitar.
Yeah, it's such a great riff, man.
That's it. The guitar riff is.
It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
easy too. It's such an easy riff but it's so fun to play.
It's so cool, right?
Just like I said, I'm not my stuff is not complicated at all either. But it's like I just love if you can write something simple and it's really hooky. That's harder than anything, man.
It's catchy, right? You're right. It's really hooky. It's really catchy, right? Like, just that build up right into the chorus, and then it's like an easy sing along too, right? Like,
it's one of those songs you automatically hear the guitar riff when you just talk about it.
And that's funny because one of my notes, I have a couple. One was guitar riff. The other one was like the only Cinderella song that I actually sing along to.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Really, it is, right?
Wait, are you singing while you're on the train or?
You can't hear yourself.
People on the train can only hear your voice.
No, I try to not do that. I try to mouth the lyrics sometimes, but I'm sure I
Right, those guys, those weird guys on the train that are screaming songs and stuff. It's like, yeah, right.
That would be me.
That's still better than
take me home.
It's still better than the fuckheads with the speakerphones that don't use.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god, dude!
You want to hear your conversation, like,
oh my god.
Why do you think I want to hear your fucking conversation? Right. Shut fucking what the fuck?
A narcissistic thing, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, get a cucumber.
Right.
Not to go off on a tangent here, okay, but there might be somebody on this that watches this show or listens to this show. If you fucking put your goddamn
quit fucking FaceTiming at the grocery store.
I never go to the fucking dollar store because the dollar store hires the weirdest people, and the weirdest people go there. But we need to get some stupid shit, so I went there and get some stupid shit.
Jimmy's joking.
And what do I hear across the next fucking aisle? Motherfucker with his goddamn talking to his mother-in-law about this and fucking that. Finally, when he comes to my aisle, I fucking just look at him and stare at him.
Right.
And he just kind of like, doop, and puts it next to his fucking ear. Yeah, that's how it fucking works, motherfucker.
Right. It's so stupid.
Jesus
like, could
Christ.
you imagine? Could you imagine back in the day if your long kitchen phone cord reached that far to go to the store?
Oh,
like, it's so stupid. Like, you don't need to talk on the phone for fuck's sake.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
All right, now we're 4 old white men.
Right.
So,
yelling at clouds.
Yeah, so is this like our favorite 4 or our fucking dislikes in the world? Because we can go on forever about that. That'd be a 7-hour fucking episode, no problem.
We should do that.
Everything I fucking hate about people. No problem. I can do 10 hours easy.
Get a cucumber.
Only 4? The hardest list.
Better
Yeah.
get a cucumber, man.
All right, if you have no objections, I'll go on to number 2. My number 2 is "Shake Me."
Nice.
Yes, I wanted to shake that motherfucker with his goddamn phone.
Yes.
You're
So I've
louder
been
than
holding
my
him since
earbuds.
Sunday, man. That motherfucker. Since yesterday.
That's great. But it's funny when you guys were talking about it. What I wrote down in my notes is I love the guitar and drums, and it has a bit of a pop rock feel, not as much as hard as the rest of it. So
yeah,
and that's more my thing, more than the hard rock heavy metal. At that time, I was more in the pop rocky type, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
It's got that really hooky chorus, man. And
Yeah.
Kiefer was really good with those first 2 albums. He was really good at that. And that's definitely one of them.
And my number 1 is Bad Seamstress Falling Apart at the Seams.
Nice.
Because of the bluesy
nice
guitar riff into the rock, into the drums. And again, I just glazed over the lyrics and just got addicted to the drums. And the one time I'd listen to the drums. The next time I'd listen to the guitar. The gun show.
Yeah, like I said, it was before, man. It's such a great, and actually at the time, I didn't say this before, a ballsy intro to your second album, because the one thing I'll say about a lot of, in music, in movies, but in music especially, there's always that sophomore slump. But I would argue a lot of bands in the 80s, their best albums were always their second album.
Yeah, I would say that, or at least stronger than their first.
With the exception of Dokken, because they had 0 good albums.
Oh, whoa.
Nice.
Dinner for one.
Well, they had
For
one.
you
They had one
listeners,
good
I'm flipping
album.
him off.
Dream Warriors was good.
The truth finally comes out. We lost Jimmy.
But that intro, I remember like having it on cassette, and the intro would play, then rewind, hear it again, then rewind, play it again, and rewind, and like almost break the fucking tape because you're doing that over and over again.
Yeah.
I tried to sing it, but my song ain't been sung, and now I ain't got
That's a good
no
vocal
worries.
line, man. Because that vocal line is carrying those first 2 songs. Yeah, it's kind of a hooky blues, but it's the vocal line. It's the hooky
When
line.
I got just a little bit over, all I
Yeah,
got
that's my
is
list.
come on down.
My honorable mention is "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone," but we all know why.
I figured, yeah.
I figured that was going to be
But
on there.
I don't really like ballads either much, so it's not. I couldn't put it on my top 4.
But it's an emotional song, right?
But it's an emotional song, and
personal
it's- yeah.
tie, yeah. Totally.
But imagine it being that guy who wrote a song that a lot of people tie to an emotional life event.
Right.
A lot of people
Right.
tie that song to life events.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
pretty
or
fucking
junior high
incredible.
breakup.
Even if that was their
Yeah.
only hit, the only song everyone really liked, imagine having that ability to have that one song that was so in tune to people's emotions that it encompasses that one life event for them. That's
Everybody
pretty
rips on one-hit wonders, but one-hit
Nope.
wonders are the song of summers, songs of generations, songs
Right.
of, right? Like
Ask
a
Jimmy.
one-hit wonder can be your theme.
Right.
I
And
will-
Jimmy, you make a joke about a breakup. It's true. If it's not death, it's probably a breakup or a loss of a lover.
Do you
right?
what though? I'd rather, with all my bands, I wish I was a one-hit wonder. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
One-hit
unless you're
wonders
like,
shape people's like music
I
taste.
wish I was
sometimes,
just a
right?
wonder.
yeah.
I just wish I could get hit.
I'm
I'm still wondering.
Stevie Wonder with I
get a hit.
I'm just here to smell the memes. Oh shit!
Smell the weed.
Yellow vision.
Have you seen that Stevie Wonder meme? I'm just here to smell the memes. That is the best comment ever. Oh shit! Anyway,
Well, I guess it.
That leaves you,
falls
Jimmy.
On me
Sorry,
now.
sorry, Jimmy. Yes.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We're laughing and snorting and chuckling.
Steve,
So I mean, with Cinderella, the first album, I really, really adored it. It was a really appealing. It was really attractive. It was lovely.
Ooh,
It was
attractive
alluring.
and
It was
lovely.
gorgeous. It was stunning. It was magnificent.
Are you writing like a Harlequin
was,
love book right now, or
he's trying to say everything but beautiful.
or creamy?
Dink didn't think I could say the whole list, and I literally just did it right now.
That was awesome.
So,
You blew your wad for future shows, though.
Now you're done.
right? And
Now you're just an also ran.
Nick, are you all right?
Right. What happened in that show? Well, Jimmy spit, then he blew his wad.
I told you I could thesaurus that and get it done. No, the first album was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it because it wasn't unique. It was a sign of it was a part of the time. It fit in really nicely to the sound of everyone else, except his voice. His voice was extremely unique. One of the things that happened around the time of Night Songs is there was two other members, Michael Shermick and Tony Destra.
Yeah.
They left Cinderella just before getting signed. And
Great
they formed
idea,
another
guys.
band called, yeah. Well, it worked out for them. They formed another band called Brittany Fox. So they were
did it
sister
really work out
bands.
for them? I don't know about that.
I don't know that I've
they
ever heard
had
of Brittany
a
Fox.
couple-
Brittany Fox.
They had a couple big songs. I ended up liking Brittany Fox more than I did Cinderella. Girls
Wow.
School and
I don't think I've
there
heard
was
of
At
another
that
one.
time, I liked Samantha Fox, but
This
that's
is called a controversy, if you will.
Right, but
I
one of the reasons that I really liked Brittany Fox more was their drummer Johnny
Is they're
D.
hot?
He was just badass.
Okay.
And
drummer, always drummer.
they both
related.
had basically the same voice. They had the same guitar style. They had the same hooks, everything else. Obviously Cinderella got bigger and Brittany Fox, fell away. But
I'll disagree.
yeah, my number 4 song is The Last Mile. It's a straightforward song.
The
It's got a catchy
Last Mile.
chorus.
It is a catchy chorus.
It has that Cinderella sound. No Fred Corey on this album. The first 2 albums, there was no Fred Corey. Fred Corey
Fred.
had joined the band 2 weeks prior to recording that first album. Go ahead, Joe.
Jimmy, since you're a drummer, why don't you explain to the layman why it's so hard for a drummer sometimes to play and record in the studio? Because playing live and studio are two different things, two different worlds.
Absolutely. There's so many different factors. For me, recording in the studio, I liked better.
So did I.
You were isolated. You could hear everything you're doing. You were everything you had to do was precise and definite. And I liked that pressure. Live, you could be sloppy, you could be all over the place, and somebody else would pick up on it and pick up the tempo. The bass player would do something a little extra to pull you back in or push you back down, make you fall out of a untempoed pocket. Recording is a lot of the times, if you don't have a good natural internal time keeping clock or a tempo clock, they're going to make you listen to a click track, which is literally ding in your ear over and over, and it keeps your time, and you cannot fall off of that. Dave Grohl famously was made to use a click track, and he fucking hated it. A lot of temper tantrums happen with drummers and click tracks because it takes away from the feel, which is a horrible excuse for you can't keep good time. So that's my explanation. Did I?
Well,
answer
no,
that
that's great
for you?
because one thing I think that
Yeah, it
Fred
makes
Curry
sense to
did
me.
very well is he owned the fact that I didn't play in 2 albums. I'm the live guy. I'm in the band. There was no repercussions for Fred Curry. The fact everyone knew he didn't play in the albums, and he was like, whatever. And again,
well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say he was the nicest guy in the world I ever met. So,
Well, and on Night Songs, he's listed on the album, but is he pictured, but he's not listed, or there's some variation of front back of the album.
He is.
Go ahead.
He is pictured. He is credited, but he did not play a single lick on there. It was Cozy Powell.
Oh, I thought
Fred
it was
Corey came into the band.
I thought it was Jody Cortez or
No, Cozy Powell.
Okay.
Yep.
I fucked that up.
Yeah.
He's
And
been
well, Fred
playing
Corey
again on
didn't
Google.
join the band. Yeah. Google it. Google it. Please do.
Don't Bing it. Don't Bing it. Google it.
But anyway, he joined the band 2 weeks before recording.
That's Jesus,
So
why you
Andy
suck.
Johns, the producer, said, "Well, we're not going to have him play." So they brought in
That made
Cozy
sense.
Powell.
Yeah, that made sense.
And the second album, Andy Johns was also the producer. And he just didn't think he could keep a good rhythm or a time in that. So again, they brought in Cozy Powell and Denny Carmisi. Denny Carmisi
Oh, really?
played with a lot of different
Denny
people.
Carmisi came in for that one too. Okay.
Yeah, he played with Heart. He's on the Heart
I'm
Heart
going to
album.
Google
Yeah, I know he is,
Played
yeah.
with Rock-
I didn't realize he played on that album. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So that was always kind of a rub. And I mean, personally for me, it's just like, you're on the album cover. Why aren't you playing? And there's different stories and different accounts, and none of them match up. So a little scandal, a little controversy, but people didn't give two fucks.
No, and I think it's just
Did you
something
find
maybe about his personality too. That, like I said, the fact he's like, yeah, I didn't play in the studio. I mean, because like I said, everyone knew back then he didn't play in the album. But I mean, the layman probably didn't, but musicians did. And he was like,
Well,
whatever.
as a whole, they have 4 albums, and he
Yep.
didn't play anything on the first 2 albums. He played all of Heartbreak Station, and
Yep.
he only played one song on Still Climbing.
Yeah.
But that song was recorded 2 years prior to Still Climbing, so that wasn't even in the same recording session as Still Climbing. Did you find it, Dink?
Oh, I found it, but I'm trying to find something that matches what you guys said, because I don't want to start flexing my guns pretty soon. But it's everything I find
That's why we do this.
says Jody Cortez.
Real time search facting or fact searching on a pre-recorded podcast.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Honestly, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take that on the chin.
Yeah, no. Everything I've found says Jody Cortez, and that's who I thought it was. Now, Cozy Powell does have some Cinderella references here, but if you look at all the stuff with Night Songs, it lists Jody Cortez as the session musician and played on all the tracks.
Scandal.
Yeah, hey, I'll take that I'm wrong.
Looks like Jimmy's getting traded.
He played every song of Long Cold Winter except for one, and that was Denny Carmisi.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe where there's 2 different session drummers, right? Cozy played on Long Cold Winter, and Jody Cortez played on Night Songs. Mm-hmm. That seems to be what I'm finding.
Okay.
But...
Well, hey, I'm wrong. Right on. Yeah, that's no problem. Right on. But back to what I was saying.
That's exactly what it is, or that's exactly what everything I found. That's exactly what it says. So there's no Jody Cortez on Long Cold Winter at all. It's all Cozy Powell. Drums on all tracks except number 5, which is Second Wind, which is one of my least liked songs of them. Anyway, hopefully that's not one of your numbers coming up.
I'm offended.
No, you would be. But anyway, no, that's cool. We found it, and I wasn't trying to one up you. That's what I had. The only
I didn't take that.
I had Corey versus Cortez, and I thought I'll just pass that off to you. That's one of the only notes I had. So,
right on. But then he played all of Heartbreak Station, and he only played in the one song of Still Climbing. So,
Cozy or Curry, or did he ever play?
Curry played on Heartbreak Station.
Yeah, Heartbreak Station.
Curry played on Heartbreak Station. Okay. According to the research I found, and obviously I can be fallible.
No, I believe it. Like,
we know it wasn't Jeff LaBar who played drums. We know that much.
Right. All right. Well, here I'll move on. Last Mile was number 4. Number 3 was Shake Me. That was the first song that I had heard from them, and I think it was their first single. And the only thing that I hated about that song was the fucking cowbell. I've always hated cowbell.
It's unnecessary.
Except for Tommy Lee in Livewire. But
cowbell, it's unnecessary.
Right.
Right.
Unless you got a fever.
Right. Right. Unless you're in the recording studio with Blue Oyster Cult, you know.
Then you need more cowbell.
More cowbell.
Right. And tighter shirts.
Shake Me. It failed to chart. It wasn't a showstopper, but to me, it was one of their better songs. The cowbell. It's a song about sex. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, Shake Me.
I think it was more of an MTV hit than it was a chart hit.
It didn't become an MTV hit until after the second song that was released, and then it got a resurgence.
Okay.
According to
music, it got heavy rotation, right? Not just on the Power Hour; it was in regular video rotation. So it was one of the, like Chris said, the pop rock song. It's one of those songs they could put in with all the other pop,
right?
And really, it's a metal song.
Yeah,
right.
Technically, a metal song, right? So
right.
You don't have to. You can't slide the scorpion. You can't be playing Genesis and Cyndi Lauper and you know Men at Work
Shake
and then
Me.
throw a Scorpion song in, but you could throw Shake Me in. You can put rock.
Right. Well, they did the Dreams. Van Halen Dreams. They threw Dreams in the middle of that.
Oh yeah, then Van Halen became pretty poppy, right? Like
one same time period,
right?
Come Feel the Noise. I mean, come on.
Yeah, some of them crossed over for sure, right?
No, that song needed a cowbell.
That song needed
a lot of cowbell.
So my number 2 is the same album, Night Songs. This was actually the third single off the album, and it actually charted the best, and it's Somebody Save Me. I really, really hooky, and I loved that chorus, and I loved what Tom Kiefer does, and he's doing his own second voice on the album, and it was really cool how they weirdly harmonized with that growl and that raspy voice, but it was really, really kind of cool how they did that. That's pretty much that.
That's awesome. We had the exact 2 in reverse, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do.
So my number 1 song, I actually have some notes on because I actually adored this song, and it's from Long Cold Winter. It was the B-side to Don't Know What You Got, and it's Fire and Ice.
Oh, wow.
I really, really loved this song. Yes. One of the cool things that I liked about this song is this song took me back to early to mid 80s, Def Leppard High and Dry sound. If you listen to it,
big time.
Very, very early at Def Leppard. The same kind of feel to the recording. And I really, really enjoyed this one. The throwback. The breakdown's really cool. Andy Johns. The biggest note that I have about Cinderella is Andy Johns. He's the producer. He worked with so many people. He produced Sticky Fingers. He produced Zeppelin 3, 4, and Houses of the Holy. Famously, he did Van Halen Fuck, Killer Dwarfs, Dirty Weapons. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of Andy Johns. Satriani, Chicken Foot, the first album Andy Johns did.
So much, man. I just looked him up now that I've got the computer.
Yeah, he started in like 66. Yeah, he started producing like in 1966 or 68, something like that.
Yeah.
And he worked with a bunch of different stuff, and he got stuck with I can't remember the Stones album.
First, look up his production, look at his producer credits, and then look at his engineering credits before that.
Yeah, tons of Zeppelin, tons of Stones, and then just like random shit, Autograph, Killer Dwarfs. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
LA Guns.
A bunch of my favorite bands around that time period: Killer Dwarfs, MSG, Macaulay Schenker Group, Wild Side. They were kind of a one album band that I was really, really into. He had a definite signature style, and he had a lot to do with that Van Halen Fuck album sounding so differently and sounding so crisp and produced. So I'm a big fan of Andy Johns.
Yeah, Andy Johns is so fucking good. Dude. Is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet? He should be if he's not. I don't know how he's not.
I don't know. Are engineers and producers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
They should be.
I mean,
If they're
outside
not,
of Quincy Jones.
if they're not, they fucking should be. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, man.
There's
Right.
no
'Cause
mention.
then
that
Andy
he
Johns,
is.
Bob Rock should be in there.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, Mutt Lang should be in there. Like, come on, like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Brendan O'Brien.
Yep.
There we go. We'll have some weird show of our favorite producers.
right, that'll turn
First,
everybody.
I love that one.
Fuck.
Right.
You'd be like, Jeebus, I'm out of here.
I'll take Spielberg.
Subbing out, man. I'm subbing out.
Tapping out. So, all right, I have one more. It's an honorable mention. It's not that it's an amazing song. I liked it on a soundtrack, Wayne's World. It's Hot and Bothered.
Oh, wow.
It was recorded in 92, put on Wayne's World in 93, and then added to Still Climbing in 94. That's the only song that Fred Corey recorded on Still Climbing. But I think we talked about this in pre-production. That he recorded 2 years before the other album was even recorded. So he does some really, cool, clean exchanges on that album or that song. I'm sorry, that song. Kenny Aronoff was the other drummer that did the rest of the drum work on Still Climbing. And Kenny Aronoff has played with everyone.
I was gonna say, people, if you're not a musician, look up Kenny Aronoff. The guy is an amazing fucking drummer, very creative. He has worked with everyone.
He's probably the most famous hired gun drummer out there. I mean, he's John Cougar, Billy Joel. He's worked. Didn't he work with Chickenfoot or Satriani? One of the two.
He's right now on tour where he replaced Jason Bonham with Hagar.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's
the Van Hagar tour.
like that.
Did Billy Joel pay him or?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know.
He's a musician, so he had to.
Right.
Yeah. His claim to fame is the little drum fill in Jack and Diane. He was told that he had to come up with a
Right.
He was told 30 seconds before recording that he had to come up with a powerful drum fill, and if he couldn't do it, he was going to be replaced. So he went outside, had a cigarette, came back, and did it.
He went outside and sucked on a chili dog. Came back in.
Yeah,
chili dog kind of tasty metaphor for something else.
Or... tasty freeze, exactly.
Suck on a chili dog. In between these.
Suck it. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I mean, that's my Cinderella list. A couple samesies. I kind of had a feeling we're all gonna have some samesies here.
Yeah, I figured as well.
So I guess yeah, I mean it's a smaller amount of music, and there was only a handful of really huge songs and a lot of deeper cuts. So I was feeling Joe might be coming in with some deeper cuts. So I guess it's up to you, Joe.
Well, that's very fitting. You bring up deeper cuts because if you talk about my number 4, let me just say, like I said before, I will say, like Dink does. Well, before I tell you anything else, here I go.
You got a disclaimer?
Night Songs was game changing for me. I was at the time I was big into Van Halen, big into LA Guns, which was this dirty LA rock, and then Night Songs, which was I think Night Songs for me, now that I've gotten older, would have aged better if it was less produced. But at the time, I played the shit out of that freaking cassette, man. Backwards and forwards, man. And I'll have a couple of songs from that I'll talk about. But for me, shocking. First of all, I promise you there's no Led Zeppelin on this list, and there's no Prince. But number 4.
Joe, did you read the call sheet?
Nice, wicked.
So far,
number 4
so
is a song from that one no one's picked. It's Love's Got Me Doing Time from Heartbreak Station.
Oh, wow.
It's not a single. It's the first song off the album. It's first of all, am I truest? I'm a riff rock guitar guy and a funk dude. I mean, I fucking love funk. And this song is a little bit different because Cinderella at this point had built themselves up being like a blues pop rock band. They wouldn't say rock. They would say blues rock band. But they were blues pop rock band. And this song's got some funky guitar in the background and fucking horns. I mean, come on. Tell me, baby.
Right.
My little Prince demon living inside of me loved that shit out of that. I mean, what could you ask for from the song? It was a great way. Again, it was, I think, Kiefer's way to say, here's the way the album is going to go. Now, for me, Heartbreak Station is a good song. And this song is about the only songs I'm a big fan of this album. I can think a lot of us have said that before that our favorite albums are the first two albums, probably because they're the best albums. Just going to say. But this album, I was shockingly surprised because Heartbreak Station was actually on the album, actually on the radio at the time. And I bought this album because I loved, Long Cold Winter. And I was highly disappointed in the album as a whole.
Yeah, big time, right?
Again, I talked about before. I think Kiefer is a really good first two albums, a riff master. The guy can write a guitar riff and you remember it. It's got a point to it. It's not just playing guitar, just not hitting chords. There's an actual riff you can hear in the head. And the last two albums, not a lot of that. But I really the funk guitar in this and the horns on it. And for me, it was a standout that I had when I was, because of course I still to this day listen to Long Cold Winter, night songs every now and then, but obviously I don't listen to the last two albums. I listen to every album and every song and that they had here. And I forgot about this song and I love this song. So that's my number.
Well,
a rusty trombone.
I forgot which episode we were talking about Cinderella, but somebody was talking about how he's had a bunch of surgeries, and between Cold Winter and Heartbreak Station, there was a 2-year wait because he had to kind of learn to sing, and you can really tell.
Was that when he had his album surgery?
Yeah, first two surgeries. Yeah.
Yeah. Larisis, I don't know how to say the word, but he had a vocal cord problem. I don't know the medical terminology, forgive me. And he had to get it worked out. He couldn't talk for, I think it was like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. He couldn't do anything. He had to, write everything down. He had to relax the muscles before they could even get worked on. So there was a 2-year hiatus between albums, and you could really tell the difference in his voice on that third album. And he had to basically sponsors. He had to really kind of learn to sing differently. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, at least that's a legitimate reason for a gap in albums.
Wow, the Americans bring Canadian shit.
Moose pits.
That's a legitimate reason for a gap in albums versus writer's block or different kind of riffs between the band members. Like you know what I mean? Like or guys died or members left or whatever. Like
experimental
waiting
around.
to release your album because you're injured is a legitimate reason in my opinion.
I love the fact you said a better reason than writer's block. Writer's block means you just can't think of good shit.
Coming from the guy who's never written a song in his life.
I want to say, and maybe in a future episode that we probably are totally not recording tonight, there is an artist that I'll probably bring up that suffered from writer's block that most people do because you want to write good shit, especially when you're used to writing good shit, because it's hard to write good shit, But but definitely, I get what you're saying. But it's really hard to write good music people want to hear.
No, I believe that. Yeah. No, I do. I never meant any disrespect.
I didn't mean that either.
I just mean
I'm sorry for bringing it up.
It just seems like a legitimate reason for surgeries or losing an arm or whatever.
I mean, he lost an arm. Okay, whatever.
Right. Another guy saying, "Hey, you putting out another album?" Well, we're working on it. Or that fucking guy left the band or whatever. Right? I can't think
even
of
the guy
anything.
who lost an arm learned how to play with 3 appendages.
Right, exactly.
He played with his dick. That's what Jimmy's saying.
Right.
But
He plays
Joe,
that
I
would be
don't know.
tiny
That would be
symbols
really
with his
impressive.
penis head.
So, Joe, I don't know if I'm going to step on any of your notes, but Dink gave a good segue about members dying.
Oh yeah.
A handful of years back, Cinderella had 2 members, current active members in the band, died in the same day, 1 hour apart, nowhere near each other.
Okay, my notes say a day apart, but okay.
Yeah.
I saw
Are
it.
you using Bing?
No, I saw that too,
Apparently.
that it was the same day. I saw the
Oh,
same
okay,
thing.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a fucking bona fide like fact checker.
You are the fact checker, though.
All right.
You were. Looks
No,
like
that's
I
No,
am.
it's true, though, because
Nick's taking that over because I got.
Why did I don't like this role? Like,
no, because Jeff LeBar died. Unfortunately, it was never the official cause of death. Never gave for rhythm guitarist Jeff LeBar.
Jimmy's throwing
But
a
it was
tantrum.
probably alcohol related because he gave his last interview was in 2016 on a podcast, and he was saying, sorry if I can't remember the podcast, so no offense, podcast. But they asked him during the podcast, "Are you sober now?" He's like, "Oh no." But Jeff LeBar blamed himself for the fact that Cinderella would never get back together. So,
who was
and you're right. And their longtime keyboardist died the same day. I mean, good God, man. Imagine being that. It's like,
Died of cancer, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
But oof. Yeah, that's not, I mean, 2 guys in one day. What are the odds of that? Your longtime rhythm guitarist and your touring keyboardist.
Yeah.
That's
Even if it was 24 hours apart, it's
either way, yeah. I
mind-blowing.
don't care if it was fucking 10 years apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine, but Jeff LeBar, at the time, he said he hadn't talked to Kiefer since 2006 or 2009, whatever it was. He hadn't talked to him for a long, long time. Ironically enough, I guess Eric Brittingham lived like 20 minutes away from him, and they would talk every now and then. But he said he hadn't talked to Kiefer since they broke up, and Kiefer would have nothing to do with him. So, I mean, people rip on bands and they get mad at bands for breaking up.
They died the same day.
They died the same day. Okay, cut them some slack. No, I will just say this.
July 14,
Being a very minor band, a band is like a family that's put together forcefully and held together by duct tape and twine. I don't care how well you get along. And now if you get really famous and someone fucks up and they're just not with the program.
Or it's a standard.
Right. Imagine just trying to get 4 of your friends to do something for one collective thing for years on end, and you're seeing them every single day for months on end, if not years on end, and getting along.
Good and bad.
It's inhuman.
Yeah. It's inhuman, exactly. Gary Corbett was the guy. I don't know if you mentioned him by name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did, but I didn't remember his name.
Thank you very much.
He was the keyboardist, and he worked with Cinderella. He toured with Kiss and Lou Gramm, and worked with all of Bob Marley's sons in the 80s. Corbett co-wrote She Bop with Cyndi Lauper, which is clearly about masturbation. So
yeah,
we got a little masturbation in on this episode.
Yeah.
Well, we should mention Fleshlight now.
Right. Right.
Our sponsor this week is Fleshlight.
Good time to bring up your OnlyFans account, Dink.
Right. And I'm not talking about George Clinton.
I do have a bed here.
And this is why we're not going to Winnipeg. Okay. My number 3. Just to give you a little preview, if you will. Number 3 is my only song from Night Songs. And it's Nothing for Nothing, baby.
Yeah.
Nothing for nothing.
You know what? Like I said, I played Night Songs, the album, up backwards and forwards, night and day. I mean, it was a side A, side B, side A, side B, side A, side B for months. I love this album, but this is the one, I don't know why, but this is the number one song it's stuck with me, is Nothing for Nothing. And again, doing this list that we do, we have to kind of prepare. I mean, believe it or not, we don't listen to stuff all the time.
Right.
So I haven't listened to Night songs in a long while. I'm like, oh my God, I fucking love this song. And it's, again, another fucking great guitar riff that just gets stuck in your head. It's probably, I think, his best vocal performance on the album, personally. I really do.
It's very strenuous on his vocal cords. He's really reaching and digging on that one.
Exactly.
I
and
love
it's funny
it,
you
dude.
say that, Joe, like with researching or working up to these shows, because I'm kind of with you, minus Jimmy and I both had somebody save me and shake me. I go back to those two all the time.
Yeah, sure.
They're always filtered in on random lists, but I will listen to Long Cold Winter front to back. But I don't listen to Night songs front to back. So I did for this. And you're right. Like there was like, oh, fucking shit, I forgot how good some of these songs really are.
Well, it's kind of interesting when you said it, because I thought about that, Long Cold Winter, along with another subject we're totally not recording tonight. That there are certain albums, and this might be a cool, I don't know how we do it, but we might be a cool episode in the future. By the way, I didn't mention in the beginning, this is a subject a fan had suggested that we do. So
I thought you got that in. Oh yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I had so many other facts there. I completely spaced it out, but yeah, this is a fan submitted subject. But there are certain albums that I consider as one long track. Long Cold Winter is one of them.
I kind of do too, right? Like it's a little like
totally
I know
not.
it's not one of those actual albums like Floyd or Queensryche or where you're supposed to play it, right? Like it's
you could.
You could.
I mean, Floyd's got a couple, Zeppelin's got a couple, Prince might have a couple. I mean, I would even argue She Lee's got, but I'm saying there are albums that you personally, when you listen to, you're like, and maybe it's a generational thing. I get that, because albums like Prince said way back in the day, he was in the Grammys and he said, like Black Lives, albums matter. And I'm quoting him, so don't get mad at me. But there are certain albums that are a complete story. And I'm not talking conceptual albums. It's just when you listen to one song, you got to listen to the entire album. And you have Pink Floyd, and whatever that may be for you, I think Long Cold Winter is one of those albums.
Yeah, and we've got away from it so much, right? With like you said, generational. Nowadays. I have to make an effort to. Jimmy probably doesn't. If you're collecting vinyl, are you moving the needle all that much? Or are you letting it play?
Play all the way through.
Yeah. And that's probably the way a lot of them are supposed to be. Right?
Yeah.
But
stop picking out your favorite tracks and listen to our entire shit, man.
That's also kind of a throwback to when we were kids. We've all mentioned it on an episode here or there. When you got a brand new album, CD, tape, 8 tracks, reel, whatever the fuck it was.
You didn't jump around.
Drop the needle, press play. You listened to it all the way through, and you kept flipping it like Joe, side A to side B, side A, side B.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked 1 or 2 tracks with cassettes or even with vinyl. I did. You recorded them onto your mixtapes.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Like, you remember our last music trivia, Dink? What I told you I did with fucking Survivor and Eye of the Tiger?
What did you?
I had a cassette tape that was just Eye of the Tiger over and over again. Side A, side B.
I mean, why not?
Like a 60 minutes of Eye of the Tiger on side A.
On a fucking orange and black Memorex cassette tape.
I was going to say a Maxell SLP, 90 minutes of Eye of the Tiger.
90 minutes? What?
That's a lot of rising up. Fuck.
Right?
Still not as long as Sting, but whatever.
You trade your passion for glory with that one.
Yeah, you really do. Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Well, Dink, with that, I do have to mention that is very pulchritudinous.
Oh my God. Did you have to go to like YouTube to learn how to pronounce that or what?
Yeah, probably.
Phonetically.
He totally did. Yeah, he totally did.
Yeah, totally.
How do I pronounce it? Go to
Well, then
Yeah.
I sent that list. I'm
Never-
like, here's some other words for beautiful to our group chat. And I'm like, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. And nobody did. Just skip
I was,
that.
Never
I was
dare
at work
me ever
literally looking
again.
at it like, what?
What the fuck is that?
Never dare me ever again.
Oh my God.
Oh, those
Okay,
lists are
well,
beautiful.
okay, for our audio listeners, Jimmy just held up a bunch of cue cards of what is that?
Oh shit! I'm getting drunk.
How to say beautiful in different ways. The thesaurus of beautiful.
Those are I can't even say that word. Thesaurus versions.
Thorith,
of beautiful.
the thesaurus
The
word for
Thorith.
beautiful.
Get the Thorith of beautiful.
Thesaurus
Oh
version,
my
yeah.
God. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
One of
I
these
took
days,
it as a dare, Ding.
Jimmy, I know you you only drink, but one of these days, I don't care if it's one of these days we make it to Toronto or Winnipeg, or they come here to Minneapolis or something, or we go to Chicago, whatever it may be. One of these days, we're gonna have a show where none of us drink, but we all smoke. And just see what happens. Just see what happens.
We should.
I'll just have an IV of whiskey. And
Yeah, Canadians don't smoke.
Okay, so for my number 2, I honestly thought this would be I would be the only one picking this song, but I mean I stand corrected. But my number 2 is If You Don't Like It. I mean, Chris, you picked the song, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you brought it up. You said the intro, the
Yeah.
guitar line. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, this song is just those 16 notes on that A note, just sitting there. Just it's like it's not heavy, but it's just like it commands your attention, you know.
Yeah.
The song, even though again, like I said, it's not heavy, it's not violent, but it commands your attention. It's like almost like a locomotive going down to its destination, you know.
Good description.
This has always been my second favorite song off the album, even though I love the entire album as a whole, as we spoke before. I consider the entire album one giant track because it's so well produced, so well written, so well put together. And I got to tell you guys right now, my favorite thing when I write my own and record my own albums, my favorite thing, it's so weird, isn't recording the songs, it's putting the songs in order. Like,
Really?
the song's gonna go first. The song's gonna go third. And I go through this whole week's prolonged process of like, what song goes after the next song? I guarantee you
There's an art to it.
there's an art to it. And it's so fun. That's my end game when I record my album. It's not just the fact I release songs that I love. I don't care if anyone else does. I think any artist records for themselves. But the best part is putting them all together. Like, ooh, because you record like 14 songs randomly and like, okay, now what order they go in? It's the best thing in the world. It's the best thing.
That's
So I know when these guys are doing on a major label, it's the same thing. So
Do
if
they
you
have
don't
full
like
control
it,
of that, or does it?
What's that?
Do they have full? Do you wonder if bands have full control of that, or if the producer that wants certain singles? No, you're opening. This is the opening track. This is the opening track on side B.
I would think it probably. I guess I think it depends on your first album. Probably not, because like you go back to Cinderella, sounds like most bands at the time, right? Long Cold
Right.
Winter does not. Warren's first album sounds like a lot of the songs at the time, long albums at the time. Second album, not. You know, Prince,
Right.
even Prince. I'm going to fit Prince on the freaking Cinderella album, or Cinderella show. That even in 1977, when he was recording For You, his first album, they tried to bring in different producers, and all the producers like he's good on his own. He's good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So I think on the first album, probably typically no, but when your first album like Night Songs does very, very well, you probably have a little more say in what happens. And then you get a little more personality because you're not getting, no offense, even with Andy Johns. Andy Johns was amazing, did a great job, but Andy Johns being Andy Johns, probably let the band be the band.
Right.
Let Tom Kiefer be Tom Kiefer, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my number 2 pick.
Yeah. Well, Tom Kiefer was such a fluid, fluid songwriter that Andy Johns knew that the song was going to be a good song. He just had to polish it.
Yes.
Right.
Andy Johns was probably there to really just master it versus just engineer it.
Or therefore to bounce ideas off of, you know?
Yeah. That would be my guess anyway.
Oh yeah, I would too. Because again, the guy's so multi-talented, and he did Andy Johns it is in doing so many different genres as well, and so many different decades. Because taste change between decade to decade, much less. I would say taste change every 5 years, right? Probably, pretty much.
And another reason why I brought that up is you think of somebody like Cinderella or many million bands or artists, but then you think of somebody like Warrant. You know what I mean? Like this is your single. We fucking hate this song.
or you have bands that be like, I mean, I think Toto. We talked about Toto in a past episode where they thought Africa was awful. Like, that song was an afterthought. It was like the last song we did for the album, but the album company was like, or the record company was like,
was that Africa? Yeah.
So sometimes, as long as you have synchronicity, please reference. The album or the record company knows what's best for the artist, and the artist knows what's best for them as well. Then you have the result you have, I think.
Right.
Well, the record company knows what's best for themselves.
For themselves.
I don't
they're there to make money. Ultimately, it's all they care about.
They don't give a rat's ass about the artist.
They don't care about the art.
Really.
When I hear these stories, I think about the one about Radiohead and the song Creep, where the rest of the band tried to sabotage it by playing heavy over Tom York singing softly, and it made the song fucking awesome.
Made the song great.
There's a bunch of those. We may or may not be talking about Smashing Pumpkins in the future, but Bullet with Butterfly Wings, Billy Corgan didn't want to release that song as a single because they were pushing him to go a certain way with it. And then they ended up, saying "fuck you" with it musically, and it turned into Bullet with the Butterfly
Turned into
Wings.
a massive hit, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think not nowadays. Again, with the risk of sounding very like the old white dude, the old middle-aged white dude. Nowadays, you have 14 writers or 18 writers on a fucking song.
Like what you are,
And there's nothing about individuality, and everyone complains about the fact music sounds so pretty much the same, or very, very produced, very on time, because everything's done to a click track, if not very artificially. Especially when you have 18 writers to a song, it's hard to get a definite sound to an artist.
And you know the problem is for music lovers, I'm sure you guys feel somewhat similar. It comes off like the actual artist doesn't give a shit about their art. Here it is. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh, thanks. Like, this probably could have been better if you maybe weren't influenced behind the scenes, but we don't know that, right?
The question is the ultimate goal for the artist to be famous or to actually for their art?
Right. It's the whole brand.
I will argue like Lady Gaga somehow broke through the thing, and Lady Gaga has a sound. She is generally most times the main writer on most of her songs, right?
So she didn't come out unscathed.
But if you look at most Beyonce songs have like fucking 10 writers.
Yeah, I mean, look at her husband.
Right. Well, it's mostly single ladies, though, right? Like,
I'm just saying, there's nothing that's unique about it. And you can argue with me, I could be wrong. Again, music is art, and all art is subjective. But there's something to be said about the one artist who's recording to have control over their own sound, whether it's right or wrong. Right. But if it's right and it's different and it hits at that time,
and it hits, right? They're deep down, they're like, "Fuck you! I knew, fuck you."
I mean, think about it again. Let's go back to 1991 when Nirvana hit. Nothing like anything else on the album or on the radio waves. Nothing. It was the antithesis of everything that was 80s rock, right? And it was completely
Wasn't it the Great White lead singer that did an interview? I think it might have been on Much Music where he said, "If Nirvana's the next thing in rock and roll, I'll go sell shoes," or something like that.
Yeah,
did he?
And then like on one of the documentaries I saw, It said, well, buddy, I'll take a size 10 because, man, did they ever hit it.
Sorry, Jack.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if it was Great White, but it was one of those bands, and it's like, if that's the Seattle Sound is the next big thing, I'm going to go.
Well, some of that too, yeah. Some of that is probably self-preservation too. Like you don't, that's not what you do. It's you don't know how to do
These
that.
guys are going to kill us, right?
Yeah, because we talked about before in like I think the 1971 episode weeks ago about how the 90s alternative rock scene was just very similar to 1971 because there's so many different genres coming in and different styles that come in that it made the previous generation seem defunct almost right away.
You know the problem is the world is a vampire.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Right. And neither is Billy Corgan.
Oh, no, wait, he's got a point.
Little do we know at the time he was speaking about 2025.
Right. Oh shit.
Wow.
All right. With the risk of making this not any longer, my last our number one song from Cinderella is The Last Mile. Again, for me, this song encompasses everything that album is. The album is blues, it's rock, it's riff oriented. It's got that again, that really hooky guitar riff. But again, there's something something about sound. I'm not very good at conveying what I hear when I put the headphones on. But the album is airy. In other words, it's very big. I can hear all the instruments come in, and it's got its own sound, but it lets everything breathe. I can hear the bass line. I can hear the drums. I can hear the vocals. I can hear the guitar. It's got the great riff. It's again amazing vocals by Tom Kiefer. If you like his vocals, which I know is either you love it or you fucking hate it, and I think he probably knows that too. But
that chorus,
I think this song singly encompasses everything that the album is.
Yeah. Well, that chorus you're talking about. Weirdly enough, that chorus, he's not seemingly very straining on his voice. It's very kind of subdued. The last mile. He's not
right.
Yeah.
You know what I meant?
Yeah,
no, you conveyed it very clearly. Yeah, you're right. He's letting his voice come out. It's like I talked about before. I think when Dink was talking, that he has the really strained voice and he has the really open voice, and he very seldom uses a very open voice. And
I call it lower register, but it really is open. It's funny you said airy. That's the first time I've ever heard that description. And you're right, though. Other bands or artists that use a band, sometimes it's all vocals, or sometimes the guitar kind of kills everything else. Where certain bands like Cinderella, if you really listen on certain tracks or certain albums, you can hear it all, and that's cool, right?
Yeah, you're right about that. And I just said this to my wife the other day. We were listening to Queensryche Empire, and I think there's only 2 albums, and I can be, you can tell me your opinions. You put it in YouTube, put it in the comments, whatever it may be, but there are 2 albums where I can clearly hear the bass on the entire album, on the rock album of the 80s. It's Long Cold Winter and it's Empire by Queensryche.
And third's probably Injustice.
You hear the bass on both. Where in the day when bass was an afterthought, it was just an accent to the kick. It was just the bass was just an accent to the kick drum, right? Pretty much. And you kind of heard in the background, like, is bass there? Where Long Cold Winter and Empire, you can clearly hear the bass. They're very distinctive. They have their own parts. They're with the kick drum, but they also have their own parts, just kicking off the kick drum and the rhythm guitar and sometimes the lead vocal.
Yeah,
and
that's
cool. Now has that as well.
It's funny, like Chris and I have clearly mentioned as non-musicians or instrument players. For me personally, I listen to music different than I did when we were younger. I listen now for the bass when I totally took it for granted when I was younger, when I was a kid. whatever, like listen to that, like I was playing air guitar, listen to that guitar, listen to the guy singing, and if the drummer was really good and it was pronounced, the bassist was an afterthought. Sorry, bassists.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, listen to that fucking
Right,
bass on so much music, right? Listen to that bass, so good. Listen to that bass line. There was a bass line in that song, and I even ignored it. Like a predominant like bass solo. Like, oh, no, whatever.
Yeah.
What is it? Is that the guitarist? No, that's the bassist, you fucking loser.
And even again, you guys would have no idea. Maybe Dink would and Jimmy would, but probably not Chris. And the average person obviously would not. But my own personal music that I've written has been very intentionally written for having to almost have the bass with the vocal line carry the song. Because for me, the guitar is like the real antithesis of carry the airness of the song, but the bass is the drive with the vocals. And
that's
in a day and age. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's also your nature is that that 90s alt rock sound, that not necessarily sound, but that feeling, that 90s alt rock feeling is really prevalent in your music. I don't know if they've ever heard any of it, but I've heard everything you've ever played 500 times. But yeah, there's definitely that alt fever in there.
By the time we run out of ideas, we might do like a Warhol series top 4.
One each.
We'll make Christmas in my band.
I can do it.
No, but the last mile, like I said, that song encompasses everything that I think the album is. And again, I look at The Long Cold Winter as one long track, similar to Purple Rain, similar to Jagged Little Pill. By Alanis Morissette. So many artists, again, Pink Floyd, The Wall, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Police, Synchronicity. It's so many albums that I have to listen to in entirety because it tells a story. Maybe not collectively as like a thematic album, but it just has a general theme about the sound that makes you want to hear more after you hear the one song. And by the time you hear the last song in the album, you want to go back to the first song in the album.
And that's the power of a producer, a good producer, and a great engineer.
Yes.
Yes.
My honorable mention is from that song. It's In From the Outside.
Wow.
Deeper cut.
Yeah, I just love this song again. Again, it's a guitar riff. I will say it's a slinky guitar riff. It really fits my
I knew it was coming.
Not creamy. It's not creamy, but
Slinky.
it's slinky. It's it's sneaking up behind you. It's like it's here it comes. I just Kiefer has amazing ability to chase his vocals on his song too. His vocals are really low, they're very high, they're very raspy, they're very clean. I guess just like the previous song, The Last Mile encompasses Long Cold Winter. For me, In From the Outside encompasses all of Night's songs. From the hits from Shake Me and Nobody's Fool to all the way to Hell on Wheels. That's what this song means to me for an honorable mention. That's all I got.
I had a feeling
we said this would be a shorter episode. We're rambling on.
We're still over an hour.
We can't go under an hour. I don't know how we got 71 under an hour. We should go back and redo it.
Go back and do 71 part 2.
Right? Yeah. How the hell did we do Van Halen in 50 minutes?
I don't know, man. Van Halen, of all things, in 50 minutes, I think it's still a shorter show. Folks, just let you know, we try our gauge for episodes are 45 to an hour. And we suck at this.
We suck at that. So get ready for 90 minutes coming at you every week.
We try. So if Chris has his cream of a dream Pink Floyd show, it's probably gonna be 2 fucking hours, but it's gonna be a fucking wonderful 2 hours.
Well, the good thing is,
dream of a dream.
We talked about it at dinner the other night, and my wife said, 90 minutes, eh? Like I thought you guys were aiming for an hour. I'm like, we are. And then my son Matthew goes, 90 minutes. That's like normal podcasts. Like some of them are like 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, we can go 3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4 hours. I don't want to hear me for 3 fucking hours. Does Chris want to hear me for 3
I
hours?
don't want to talk about Cinderella for 3 hours.
Do you want to watch me sit here for 3 hours and listen to you talk?
Yes, you've done it on trivia night.
Oh. No, we want to thank everybody for listening. We've had such a great response from the last few shows. Again, please click like and subscribe on YouTube. Again, on the YouTube version, it's a little bit different than the audio version. YouTube, you get to see all the graphics and the the album covers and the band covers or the pictures of the artists. Where on the audio podcast, we can still do the audio of the songs, so you have the audio of the songs when we're talking. So it's kind of cool. So it's almost like 2 different shows. So I know there are some people who actually watch the YouTube show first and then go back and listen to the audio show, which is really cool. So they're 2 different completely experiences. So again, like I say, click like and subscribe on those YouTube shows. On the audio podcast, click on download, because for some reason streams don't count, only downloads count, which makes no fucking sense to me. Whatever. If you have any idea or you have any questions of where we're at, just go to www.justpod.com or justrankedpod.com. I fuck up every time. Justrankedpod.com. You'll find a link to all of our socials. You'll find a link to the YouTube channel. You find a link to the audio shows. I just want to thank everybody. Again, this show was an idea of our listener who said, "Hey, you guys should do Cinderella next."
Right, and her name is.
Send us your ideas. Who do you want to see us do? Is there a year you want us to do? Is there a genre you want to do? Give us your ideas, because we have our ideas, but sometimes, again, we're limited to 4 people. Give us an idea what you want to hear.
Right.
Trust me, we have opinions about it.
Wrist.
Right. Like I joked about it in 71. We won't do it. And, we might push it back, but we'll consider it.
And we're going to do, 1971 part 2. No, but again, my name is Joe. That is Jimmy. That is Chris. That is Dink. And we are Just Ranked. Come back anytime and listen to us again. Thank you so much. And in the immortal words of Donald Fagen,
hey, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
What they said.
2 and 2.
Why don't you go fuck yourself?